Hey y'all, Brian Thacker, Natural Self Yoga. Now I'm going to talk to you about Bird of Paradise. This is a fun pose. I can remember the first time I heard an instructor cue Bird of Paradise out of the Parsva extended side angle. I said, you want us to do what? And so every time I cue it or I hear somebody cue it, I never forget my reaction when I thought my instructor was crazy. I thought that she was asking us to do something that was completely impossible. I thought it was impossible until I saw somebody do it. And that's one of the things with me, when I see somebody else do it, I don't get jealous that they're doing it, but I get inspired by it. I never really know what the human body can do until I see somebody else do it. And then it's not always possible for my body, maybe not right then, maybe not that month, maybe not that year, maybe not ever. But eventually in time, most of the poses are accessible to everyone. It's just a journey, and getting there is part of the yoga practice. Being okay with where you are is important. But there's a lot of different ways to get into it. The main thing is you're just standing on one leg. Everything else is kind of secondary. It's just kind of for fun. So you're going to root down into the standing leg. This time it's going to be my left leg. Feeling a Tadasana, firm foundation here, solid pillar here. And then just lifting your right leg. This is basically Bird of Paradise. You know, it doesn't seem like Bird of Paradise. When I do the pose, you're going to notice what I'm talking about. But ultimately, all you're doing is standing on one foot. Okay? If you can stand on one foot, engaging your core, lifting at the belly, shoulders away from the ears, relaxing your jaw, deep, calm breath, then you can do Bird of Paradise. And I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. There's a lot of different ways to get into Bird of Paradise. One of the most common ways, as I mentioned before, the first way that I learned it was from Parsva side angle pose. So you're sinking down here, you're opening up your hip. You're lengthening through the fingertips. You can always stay here in a class. But if you're in a class and they're allowing you to do extra poses, what you can do to come into Bird of Paradise, coming into your bind, you bring your hand to the small of your back, and then the other hand comes underneath the knee to grab. You can clasp the wrist or anything else. Again, you can stay here, opening that shoulder up, lengthening through the crown of your head. A lot of people, what they'll do, they'll hinge forward like this. That's not proper. So you can stay here, lengthening through the crown, or from here, you just step this back foot forward. Again, we're just standing on this back foot, and you're rising up. So you're standing on the foot, you have your hip open, belly to spine, just like we were doing before. You're standing on one foot and breathing. Straightening the leg, spreading the toes, deep breaths in and out, relaxing your jaw. So we're opening our hips, we're opening our shoulders. To finish the pose, you can look over your opposite shoulder. I can always do a little bit better with more open hips. And then gradually coming back down, the same way you got into it, stepping back, and you can vinyasa through. Stretching that spine. So, Bird of Paradise, that's a really fun one. That's another one that looks a lot more difficult than it is. It is difficult if you have trouble with your balance, so you have to work on your balance. A strong core is going to help any balance. And also having an open hip is going to help you get that leg as extended as high as you can. It's fun. Do it on one side, do it on the other side. When everybody else is hanging out in side angle pose, you could stay in side angle pose if you wanted to. You're building strength and awareness. But over time, maybe you want to play with something like that. And again, there's a lot of other ways that you can get into that pose, but that's just a fun pose, a fun standing balancing pose that opens the shoulders and hips. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Brian Thacker, Natural Self Yoga. Hope to see you on your mat sometime really soon. Have a great day. Namaste.